Good morning. I think my camera is starting here. At least it appears to be. Okay, there. I think I'm live. Good morning. Good Wednesday morning. Constance and I have just returned from just a quick trip to Trader Joe's. It's a beautiful but cold morning in Sacramento, and I've yet to take my morning walk, and I'm about to do that. But as I was sitting in the parking lot of Trader Joe's, waiting for Constance to do her shopping, uh, I was thinking about the tarot card that we've been on for the last week at Monday night magic class. Constance and I were doing a lot of reading and discussing and arguing and listening uh, about the star card and the goddess of the star card. Okay, there she is. I showed it to you yesterday. Now you see her right side, uh, or she was reversed when I showed it to you yesterday. And the goddess of the star card. Tarot has quite a few goddesses in it. You could even say the high priestess is a goddess, and we've got the empress. Okay, but we've also got the goddess NUIT that appears in the Aeon card, or the old Judgment card. Nuit, of the Stele of Revealing, the Egyptian goddess, the blue, uh, very long and slender, her feet on the earth and her hands. Okay, she's doing like a handstand, but she's the night sky. And in many Egyptian sarcophagi, the coffin itself, the coffin lid is Nuit, and her starry body going from head to toe above your mummified body. So there's that goddess, and but in the Thelemic pantheon, okay, we hear about Nuit and we hear about Babylon, and there shouldn't be any confusion, but there initially is, and it's understandable that because they have different names, you think of them as different cosmological concepts. And we can get all Kabbalistic and anal about it and say, okay, they both belong up there in number 3 of the supernal triad, Bina, which is perfect. Yeah, and that's where they certainly belong. But from our point of view, or for the point of view of the magician or the aspirant, as a real live entity embodying a meat bag on Earth, what does it all mean to me? And when we read Crowley, we're finding out what it means to Crowley. But even Crowley, especially toward the very end of his life, was viewing things from the position of himself as a human being, with all of the commonalities that we all share, and thinking in very, very personal terms about things. So we can, on your deathbed, you're probably not going to argue about Kabbalistic shit. Okay, not to say that what you're thinking isn't and experiencing isn't Kabbalistically profound, but you boil it all down to, what does it mean to me? What does it all mean to me? And in Crowley's book, and he wrote it pretty early. I think it was around 1913, 14, I think. He wrote this collection, 91 like one-page jewels. You don't know whether to call them poems or tiny essays. And he called the book of lies, because as soon as you open your mouth, it's false on some level. I used to start off all my speeches with I would project on the screen that says, "Everything I say is untrue. Though true, I try to make it. As the words drop from my lips, would I had never spake it." And as a matter of fact, I should say that every morning, just to remind us all that ultimately everything I'm telling you is untrue. And so he called this book the Book of Lies. Okay, falsely called breaks, and then there's other thing. But there's only 91. There's only 91 of these little maybe 1.5 page jewels. And some of them just have a symbol, like an exclamation point or a question mark. But some of the best Crowley shit is in there. Early versions of the Star Ruby, early versions of the Star Sapphire, and Star Ruby, where he's still using Greek. It's very cool, and it's one of the first Crowley books I got, because the good folks at Weiser, way back in the early 1970s or late 60s, were confident enough that this book wasn't obscene, or something like that. They felt confident to publish it in a beautiful little hard-bound edition. And opposite each of the pages of these 91 things, he has a commentary where he does kind of dissect things Kabbalistically. But the comments were added in later editions. The first edition of the Book of Lies was just a tiny little black book, and every page was trimmed in kind of a thick black box. But anyway, I digress, and I need to get on with my morning walk. In the second to the last chapter 90, and he calls it Starlight. And he wrote this many decades before he would actually be laying on his deathbed, musing on these subjects. But because it's the end of the book, and so figuratively speaking, this is I'm giving it my last breath. He talks about starlight. And that's the title, Starlight. And he's going to talk about aspects of NUIT, Babylon, and NUIT Babylon in his life at that time. Behold, I have lived many years and have traveled in every land that is under the dominion of the sun. And I have sailed the seas from pole to pole. Now do I lift up my voice and testify that all is vanity on earth, except for the love of a good woman. And that woman is LAYLAH, spelled all in caps, Laylah. And I testify that in heaven, so that's, I'm going to digress just to stress this point here. I'll restart that verse. Now do I lift up my voice and testify that all is vanity on earth, except the love of a good woman. And that good woman is LAYLAH. And I testify that in heaven, all is vanity. For I've journeyed oft and sojourned oft in every heaven, except the love of our Lady Babylon, all in caps. And that I testify that beyond heaven and earth is the love of Our Lady NUIT. And seeing that I am old and well stricken in years, and that my natural forces fail, therefore do I rise up in my throne and call upon the end. For I am youth eternal and force and infinite. And at the end, it is she that was LAYLAH and Babylon and NUIT, being, and then trailing off dots, unspoken, and being. And I'm going to show you how that is capitalized. And in the end, okay, all caps, is she, all caps, LAYLAH, Babylon, and NUIT. Earth, heaven, and beyond heaven. Now, LAYLAH at the time was his muse, his lady love. There are multiple LAYLAH chapters in the Book of Lies. But magically important to Crowley, she played a spiritual role in his life that he would call the Scarlet Woman. Okay. But each of us have the I don't want to cold-bloodedly say the mechanism that is what the Scarlet Woman meant to Crowley. The Hindus more artistically show it as the Shakti, the Shiva's mate, the Shakti. Well, each of us not only have need, but each of us are the Shakti, are the Babylon, are the NUIT. Okay? It's without the union of the Shakti to your Shiva or the Babylon to your beast, you're not a whole you. You don't have all the machinery to be operating to full capacity for eventual union with the singularity. But anyway, I'm going to read the whole thing. It's just over to you again without all the distracting Lon digressions. Starlight, chapter 90. 90 was the old Saudi number, and in 19. Oh, here I am digressing, and that was in 1913 or so. Crowley was probably still thinking about Saudi as being at least traditionally relative to the star, and it's called Starlight. Behold, I have lived many lives. Excuse me. It's I'll start over again. Behold, I have lived many years and have traveled in every land that is under the dominion of the sun, and I have sailed the seas from pole to pole. Now do I lift up my voice and testify that all is vanity on earth, except the love of a good woman. And that good woman, LAYLAH. And I testify that in heaven all is vanity, for I have journeyed oft and sojourned oft in every heaven, except the love of our Lady Babylon. And I testify that beyond heaven and earth is the love of our Lady NUIT. And seeing that I am old and well stricken in years, and that my natural forces fail, therefore do I rise up in my throne and call upon the end. For I am youth eternal and force infinite. And at the end is she that was LAYLAH, Babylon, and NUIT, being and that's my little talk for today. We'll be moving on to another tarot card at class next week, and probably I'll become obsessed with that stuff for a while. But until tomorrow, continue to be good to yourself and be good to each other. Do what thou wilt shall be the whole of the law. Love is the law. Love under will.